The humble banana, a universal fruit and such a versatile food that can be constructed in many cultured dishes. Most people believe that the banana has a lot of potassium, but guess what? The 99% of the world that is not consuming the adequate intake of potassium every day. There's only 10% of the daily adequate intake of potassium in a large banana. I'm not talking about those small organic bananas that you get at Target. I'm talking about those large bananas that you can buy at the Asian supermarket. What is nutrition and why is it essential to the daily life of any individual? Well, for starters, nutrition is defined as, and I quote, science of food, the nutrients and other substances therein, their action, interaction, and balance in relation to health and disease, and the process by which the organism ingests, absorbs, transports, utilizes, and excretes food substances. In much simpler words, it basically refers to what you eat, what you receive from it, and the results seen in your body. This is essential to daily life as if you do not consume the right foods, you die. End of story. Deficiencies in certain nutrients can and will most probably lead to deterioration of bones, bleeding gums, oxygen deprivation, etc. In this presentation, I will educate you on some of the most important aspects of nutrition. We'll be covering the building blocks of nutrition, the essential 29 micronutrients of everyday life, special phytochemicals, and free radicals, and the ORAC score. Before we break down into the micronutrients we see frequently on food packages, we must first acknowledge the macronutrients. Macronutrients consist of the beloved carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins we hear about every day. Carbohydrates are chemical compounds that serve as fuel and building material, which include sugars and polymer sugars. Monosaccharides are the simplest carbohydrates that are the monomers of much more complex carbs. These simple carbs come in three configurations: 3-carbon sugar triose such as glyceraldehyde, 5-carbon sugar pentose such as ribose and deoxyribose, but most importantly the 6-carbon sugar hexose that we consume every day, which comes in the form of glucose, fructose, and galactose. These carbohydrates help form polysaccharides such as starch and fiber. Fiber comes in two forms, soluble and insoluble. Fiber can fight against foodborne pathogens, weight management, promote prostate and digestive health, reduce risk of breast cancer, gallstone prevention, and reduces the risk of cardiovascular disease. It is important to note that good complex carbs such as starch and fiber are digested slowly and do not spike insulin levels. Bad carbohydrates such as the much more simpler monosaccharide versions break down quickly, making you hangry, yes, I said hangry, in short amount of time. Although fruits are high in fructose, which is a simple carbohydrate, it is important to understand fruits are high in fiber and micronutrients compared to other simple sugars that are most likely processed. Low-carb diets can result in diet rebound that correlates to weight gain, free radical damage, which I will discuss later in the video, various cancer risks, calcium depletion, kidney stones, reduced antioxidant consumption, constipation, low physical performance, and bad breath odors. Excellent sources of carbohydrates consist of navy beans, large bananas, and whole grain bread. Not whole wheat bread, whole grain bread. Most people believe in the misconception that these two types of bread are equivalent, but guess what? They're not the same. There are three aspects of the grain: the bran or outer portion, the endosperm or the middle portion, and the germ or the innermost portion layer. Whole wheat bread is only made from the bran of the grain, while whole grain bread utilizes the entire grain, maximizing the amount of nutrients that one consumes in bread. Bad sources of carbohydrates include syrup, soda, donuts, whole wheat bread, and even worse, white bread. Lipids are micromolecules that share one characteristic. They are all hydrophobic, resulting in them poorly mixing with water. Fats are a type of lipid that are constructed from two kinds of smaller molecules: glycerol, an alcohol with all the carbons within a hydroxyl group, and a fatty acid, a long carbon skeleton with a carboxyl group at one of its ends. Saturated fat has a fatty acid that is saturated with hydrogen except for its carboxyl group found on the end of the fatty acid. This type of fat is solid at room temperature. Unsaturated fat has carbons in the fatty acid forming double covalent bonds with other carbons rather than another hydrogen, producing kinks in the fatty acid. Polyunsaturated fat molecules have multiple kinks as there are more than one unsaturated carbon double bond found in the fatty acid. Monounsaturated fats only have one kink and one double bond. Trans fats are unsaturated fats that are artificially saturated by food chemists who add hydrogen atoms in some of its fatty acids in a process known as hydrogenation. The amount and type of fat you ingest makes a significant difference to an individual's health. Good fats such as polyunsaturated fats and monounsaturated varieties help lower cholesterol in the blood when consumed in place of bad fats. Good sources of unsaturated fat include pecans, sunflower seeds, avocado, and salmon. Bad fats include saturated fats that are seen in meat and other animal sources. Even more unhealthy, trans fat, found in shortening, margarine, and fried foods. Don't you dare eat your KFC fried chicken that you had for last night's dinner during my presentation. I'm watching you. Steroids are biologically active compounds that act as signaling molecules of cell membrane fluidity. Cholesterol plays an important factor in someone's health. Cholesterol is a steroid that is biosynthesized by animal cells and is an essential component in membrane integrity and fluidity. Lipoproteins are closely associated with cholesterol, and many people are confused regarding whether these are a type of cholesterol. Just to make it clear for everyone, lipoproteins are not cholesterol. When you hear HDL and LDL cholesterol, it merely refers to the cholesterol binding to the lipoprotein. LDL stands for low-density lipoprotein and transports cholesterol into blood vessels. HDL is high-density lipoprotein, carries cholesterol out of the body. Important note, as fat is less dense than protein, it gives LDL its low density and HDL its high density from its high protein composition and minimal fat content, which is why an excessive consumption of unhealthy fats leads to clogged arteries. Didn't I just tell you to put your KFC fried chicken away? It's clogging your arteries. Phospholipids are the last set of lipids. These are the hybrid class of lipids as they are part phosphate. They are responsible for sending hormones and fat-soluble vitamins through blood back and forth in the watery fluid that flows across the cell membrane. Healthy consumption of phospholipids can come from soybeans and eggs. Proteins are large macromolecules consisting of one or more chains of amino acids, the building blocks of protein. The structure of an amino acid consists of an amino group, carboxyl group, and a side chain R group which varies between the 20 amino acids. Proteins come in a variety of functions such as selective acceleration of chemical reactions, protection against diseases, storage of amino acids, transport of substances, coordination of organisms' activities, response of cells to chemical stimuli, movement, and support. Good sources of protein include tuna and beans. Unhealthy sources come from hamburgers, duck, cheddar cheese, and that KFC fried chicken you had for last night's dinner. I told you to put that away. Probably thinking, why is this MTFB trying to teach us about water? I know I have to drink water every day. Although water is not a micronutrient per se, it is an extremely crucial substance to our daily lives. Other than the most obvious reasons, water is a solvent that dissolves other substances and carries nutrients around the body, making it possible for every organ to do its job. It is essential for digesting food into the bloodstream, carrying waste products out of the body, producing a medium in biochemical reactions such as metabolism, regulating body temperature, and sending messages between cells. Fun fact, why does seawater cause dehydration? To answer this question, we must point out an essential function of cellular fluid, having a concentration gradient. A concentration gradient is the difference in concentration of solutes between two regions. In this case, the area inside and outside the semipermeable membrane serves as the region. The cellular fluid moves from a low concentration gradient of solutes to a high solute concentration. In this case, the solute would be sodium. When seawater, which naturally has a high sodium content, enters your body, the cellular fluid within the cell membrane will move outside the cell where sodium is more concentrated. As a result, you're literally drinking yourself into dehydration as you lose water in your cells. Fun fact 2. Water is not entirely water. From a molecular standpoint, this always holds true. Even if one purchases ultra-filtered water, which removes everything except for itself, it is still not entirely water. This is so due to the autoionization of water. Under the right circumstances, an H2O molecule can literally swipe right. I say this because a water molecule will literally swipe right on a hydrogen proton of another water molecule and take it from another water molecule. That's some down and dirty water competition, always fighting for the same guy, typical. As a result, this transfer of hydrogen protons between water molecules will lead a hydronium ion along with an hydroxide ion. Now don't be worried that your water has been contaminated with these unfamiliar substances. This only occurs in 1 out of 560 water molecules, so you can relax the next time you drink water knowing this. Now we move on to the 29 essential micronutrients one must consume every day. The first micronutrient on our list is vitamin A and comes in two forms. Preformed vitamin A, which is found in animal products and are immediately available to our body for digestion, and provitamin A, that comes from fruits and vegetables and from a subclass of antioxidants that can be converted to VA when in the body. Healthy sources of this vitamin can be found in sweet potatoes, baked with skin, carrots, and kale. Thiamine, or vitamin B1, supports metabolism and regulates electrolyte flow in and out of muscle and nerve cells. This vitamin supports mental activity and is especially needed for sports recovery after strenuous exertion. Good sources of thiamine consist of yellowfin tuna, navy beans, and green beans. Riboflavin is an integral micronutrient to the body's antioxidant defense system and activates the liver phase 2 enzymes, which are used to neutralize and flush out toxins. Nutritious foods of this micronutrient include salmon, white mushrooms, and almonds. Niacin, one of the B vitamins, help activate over 200 enzymes that, for the most part, regulates the breakdown of carbs, fats, and proteins. Wholesome choices include tuna, portobello mushrooms, and peanuts. Vitamin B5, or pantothenic acid, is required by enzymes that produce energy and synthesize essential substances. This vitamin plays an essential role in the body's activity to regulate and repair hair. Wholesome choices are not limited to salmon, mushrooms, and lentils. Vitamin B6 supports over 100 enzymes performing release of glycogen from muscles, synthesis of the neurotransmitter serotonin, oxygen transformation in hemoglobin, and lowering homocysteine levels in the blood. Elevations in homocysteine have been shown to increase the risk for bone fracture, heart disease, and stroke. Nutritious sources consist of russet potatoes, baked with skin, salmon, and large bananas. Biotin is a water-soluble B vitamin that supports metabolism of carbons, fat, production of amino acid, and helps prevent diabetes as it is involved in synthesis and release of insulin. Great sources of biotin include eggs, salmon, and avocado. Folate, or folic acid, is another B vitamin that supports proper formation of red blood cells, lowers homocysteine levels in blood, along with reducing the risk of bone fractures, heart attack, and stroke. It also regulates neurochemical reactions that affect mood. Healthy sources of this micronutrient can be found in lentils, spinach, and black beans. Finally, we lost that annoying salmon trend. Vitamin B12 plays a main role in protein synthesis and in energy production from fats and proteins. It is important to note that one can only receive this B vitamin in meat sources. Healthy sources are not limited to halibut and, unfortunately, salmon. Vitamin C enhances iron absorption, collagen formation, and is most famous for its immuno property. It combats oxidation of LDL cholesterol, preventing it from depositing cholesterol in the arteries. This vitamin also boosts the body's ability to burn fat, along with promoting stomach and skin health. Good sources of vitamin C consist of acerola cherries, red bell peppers, and kiwi fruits. Choline helps construct the formation of neurotransmitters. It is needed to make acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that helps particular brain cells communicate. Nutritious sources include Brussels sprouts, wheat germs, and eggs. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin that aids in the absorption of use in calcium and phosphorus. Vitamin D is essential to the roles of bones and teeth, allowing one to achieve optimal bone density, along with improving joint and heart health. It is important to note that 30 minutes in the sun is enough to allow your body to synthesize the daily adequate intake of vitamin D. Nutritious sources derive from sardines, portobello mushrooms, and again, salmon! At least it's canned salmon this time. Vitamin E is an antioxidant that slows the natural aging process, protects cells from oxidation, as well as shields vitamin A and C from free radical damage. This vitamin, in addition, reduces the risk of bladder cancer as well as promotes bone and immuno health. Nutritious sources come from sunflower seeds, almonds, and hazelnuts. Vitamin K allows blood to clot, and no, I don't mean blood clotting in the form that causes heart failure. I'm talking about regulated clotting in terms in which you receive a cut. Just to make it clear to everyone, your blood clots on a daily basis. If it didn't, you'd be bleeding to death from that tiny paper cut you got from trying to rip that math test you just failed in front of your teacher's face. There are two particular forms of this micronutrient, K1 and K2. Vitamin K1 is found in plant sources and is the main dietary source for humans, while K2 is synthesized within the body. We move on to the trace elements along with their health benefits. Note that structural molecules are compounds of such element rather than its raw element. Calcium is essential for strong bones and teeth, as almost all, or about 99% to be exact, is deposited in these places, reducing the risk of osteoporosis. Wholesome sources can be derived from collard greens, turnip greens, and once again, canned salmon! Molybdenum is a trace element required for activity of several enzymes such as those for the production of genetic material, proteins, uric acid, and some that are responsible for detoxifying sulfides. Nutritious sources of this trace element include ligaments, nuts, and dark leafy greens. Chromium is another trace element for glucose metabolism and regulates insulin to help stabilize blood sugar levels. Good sources of chromium can be found from broccolis, grapes, and potatoes, baked to its skin. To put it simply, fluoride prevents dental cavities, stabilizes bone mineral, hardens tooth enamel, and is used as a therapeutic agent in treatment of osteoarthritis. As fluoride is regulated within our nervous systems, there is no necessity for it to be consumed from our foods. Swallowing toothpaste can give you an OD on fluoride, which can result in dental fluorosis, bright speckling amongst certain teeth. Copper plays a role in energy production, connective tissue formation, iron metabolism, central nervous function, regulates gene expression along with the activation of antioxidants. It is also involved in an enzyme reaction that cross-links collagen and elastin, which brings youthful elasticity and plumpness to skin, and supports melanin formation, the pigmentation of skin. Great sources of this trace element can be found in shiitake mushroom, soybeans, and roasted chestnuts. Iodine is responsible for the synthesis of thyroid hormones, regulating growth, metabolism, and reproductive fluids. Healthy sources can be consumed from seaweed, navy beans, and potatoes, baked to its skin. Phosphorus forms structural components of bones and teeth, along with the formation of phospholipids. Anyone still remember when I was talking about phospholipids? Well, I guess I have to go over it again. Phospholipids are... You really thought I was going to do that again? Anyways, healthy foods high in phosphorus include oat bran, halibut, and salmon! Here we go again with salmon! Thank you, Gordon Ramsay. 2/3 of consumed iron is found in hemoglobin, blood proteins that transport oxygen from the lungs to the rest of the body. Animal-derived iron is more easily absorbed than of those of plant sources. Regular endurance can increase the needs of this trace element by as much as 30%. Good sources of this trace element are not limited to soybeans, white beans, and lentils. Magnesium is responsible for hundreds of biochemical reactions, which include the contraction and relaxation of muscles and blood vessels, as well as the synthesis of protein and the transportation of energy from carbs, fats, and protein. It also helps maintain normal blood pressure by supporting blood vessels, reducing risk of gallstones, and promotes brain health. Nutritious options include halibut, spinach, and soybeans. Manganese is a trace element that helps activate antioxidant enzymes, converts fats and protein into energy, supports cartilage and bone formation, and is crucial in protecting the mitochondria from free radical damage. Along with helping the demand of cartilage and collagen used in healing wounds, it also promotes brain health. Wholesome options include oats, pine nuts, and brown rice. Large bananas, potassium. Large bananas plays a key role in blood pressure. Large bananas, muscle contraction, kidney function, and the maintenance of fluid. Large bananas balance. It can reverse rising large bananas blood pressure and decrease osteoporosis. Large bananas risk. Wholesome choices of this micronutrient consist of potatoes, baked to its skin, white beans, and can anyone guess the last wholesome choice? It is no other than lima beans. Oh, so close, but yet so wrong. Like I said, and I quote, most people believe that the banana has a lot of potassium, but guess what? The 99% of the world that's not consuming the adequate intake of potassium every day. There is only 10% of the daily adequate intake of potassium in a large banana. I'm not talking about those small organic bananas that you get at Target. I'm talking about those large bananas that you get at the Asian supermarket. Selenium activates the body's own antioxidant enzymes along with promoting brain and immune health. It counters the inflammation associated with the progression of osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. Nutritious sources include Brazil nuts, halibut, and oat bran. Fun fact, plants obtain most of their selenium from their soil in which they are grown. For example, Brazil nuts planted in selenium soils can even triple their selenium content. At that point, eating only 5 Brazil nuts will satisfy the daily adequate intake of selenium. Eat your Brazil nuts in moderation. Sodium regulates blood pressure, electrolyte balance, and nerve impulses, helping maintain fluid balance in the body as it's the main electrolyte outside cell. It is wise to note that an excess consumption of sodium can cause kidney stone. Consuming an adequate intake of sodium is not the issue here, as many individuals are consuming more than 3 times of this substance than they should. Excessive sodium intake can lead to elevated blood pressure, insomnia, pregnancy complications, kidney stones, respiration problems, and a loss of bone mass. Zinc supports healthy skin, cell structure, immunity, neurological functions, and reproduction. This trace element promotes heart health, immune function, and decreases the risk of malignant melanoma, a rare skin cancer. Wholesome choices of this trace element include baked beans, lentils, and white beans. The last and most important micronutrient is gold. And yes, I said gold. Gold has some serious anti-inflammatory property, contains the most antioxidants than all other foods, and is shown to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's by half. Wholesome sources of this micronutrient include gold leaf, fish eggs, and large bananas. Yes, you heard right. The yellow hue of large bananas, when ripe, comes from trace amounts of gold found within this fruit. I can't believe you actually thought that gold was one of the micronutrients. If you're truly paying attention, this gold is the 30th micronutrient. As I said at the beginning of this section, there are only 29 essential micronutrients. And who can afford gold foods anyways? Yeah, what I said about large bananas was clearly a lie too. In general, phytochemicals simply refer to any plant chemicals, but these special phytochemicals fit into the categories of antioxidants. These antioxidants are divided into some groups and some classes further into those. Carotenoids are the most familiar of the antioxidant subgroups, and the most common ones produce the red, yellow, and orange pigments that are displayed in many fruits and vegetables. Beta-carotene is the raw material of provitamin A, which is an antioxidant capable of mopping away stubborn free radicals and can help reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. Alpha-carotene also reduces the risk of cardiovascular disease. Beta-cryptoxanthin reduces the risk of polyarthritis, which affects multiple joints, along with reducing the risk of obtaining lung cancer. Lycopene promotes heart health by preventing LDL cholesterol oxidation and reducing the risk of inflammation, enhances male fertility by improving sperm concentration, and reduces the risk of AMD or age-related degeneration. Lutein and zeaxanthin both help preserve eye health, protects against damaging high-energy light beam, and slows development of AMD and cataracts. Now trust me, this next group of antioxidants is really going to annoy you, as it did annoy me the first time reading about it. Flavonoids, also known as polyphenols, have an abundance of electrons, allowing them to neutralize the free radical that body generates or encounters. The subclasses of this is the problem. We have anthocyanins, flavonols with an A, flavonones, flavonols with an O, flavones, and lastly, isoflavones. Let's start off with the least confusing of the flavonoids. Anthocyanins or bioflavonoids are the red, blue, and purple water-soluble pigments that are found in fruits and berries, which include cyanidin, delphinidin, malvidin, pelargonidin, peonidin, and putidin. These subclasses of antioxidants are recognized for their anti-cancer benefits such as breast and colon cancer, as well as promoting heart health. Flavonols with an A give teas and yes, cocoa powder. I'll talk about the wonderful benefits of cocoa powder later. Their antioxidant power. Types of flavonoids include catechin, epicatechin or EC, epigallocatechin or EGC, epicatechin gylate or ECG, and finally epigallocatechin gylate or EGCG. Wow, that was a mouthful. Anyways, these phytochemicals promote healthy blood flow by stimulating the production of nitric oxide, a naturally produced body chemical that dilates blood vessels and reduces blood clotting by moderating platelet function. Flavonoids is found in citrus fruits, a significant contributor to the antioxidant pool that circulates blood. Flavonoids are the antioxidants with a potential chemoprotective benefit consisting of luteolin, apigenin, tangeritin, and yes, they're found in tangerines if you're ever so wondering, nobiletin, and sensitin. Flavonoids are sometimes referred to phytoestrogen due to their similarity in structure to human estrogen, are a small group of polyphenols. The subgroup of antioxidants include daxian, genistein, and glycitin. Flavonols with an O are a distinct subcategory of health-bolstering antioxidants found in fruits and vegetables. They include the antioxidants quercetin, camphorol, myricetin, isohanatin, hanatin, and rutin.